And each day the lesson is posted on YouTube. Okay, so every day I record what we do in here and I post it on YouTube, and you can watch it on YouTube each and every day. All right. So if you're not here, the expectation is that you go to YouTube and you watch what we did. If we worked on something out of your workbook package, which I'll show you in a minute, then the expectation is that you will do that. Okay. If you are absent, you come back and you are caught up already. Okay. If you come back, what I'm looking for is, hey, Mr. Coder, I know I was gone for a couple of days. I was really sick, but I managed to watch the podcast and I tried some of the stuff you guys were working on. I get most of it, but I don't get this part. Can you help me with that? Absolutely no problem. You've done your job as the student by getting as caught up as you possibly could. Okay. If you're gone for a week because you decided to go on holidays and you come back and go, Mr. Coder, what did I miss? My answer to you will be this: a lot. You are responsible for getting yourself caught up. I'll help you with that stuff if you've done your part of it. Okay, everybody with me there? That includes any assignments or labs that are assigned during your absence. If we do a lab, you are still doing the lab, okay? Doing the lab report, right? I will have a recording of the lab. Sometimes I even have recordings of like the actual physical lab itself, okay? In addition to the instructions and tips and hints for how to do the lab report, all of that you will have to do, okay? Everybody follow there. So the moral of the story is be here. You need to be here. Okay. Typically, people with more than 10 absences typically do 10% worse than the class average. Okay, so you don't want to be in that category. All right, lates. If you arrive late for class, you will find the door in the closed position. It will remain in the closed position with you on the other side of it until I come get you. Don't knock. Don't make faces at me through the window. I'll see you and I'll come get you when it's not an interruption to everybody else's learning. Okay? If you are habitually late, we are not going to get along very well because I can't stand it. Okay? If you're habitually late, you're going to be servant time in the administrator's offices. And if it gets really bad, I just put a desk in the hall for you. Okay? Because I'm not going to have your tardiness affect the learning of everybody else by having you walk in late all the time. So make sure you are on time. All right. The resources that you will have available to you. First off, Google Classroom. Okay. Your guys' join code is right here. So if you've got your phones, you can open up your Google Classroom app. Your join code is right there. I'm not going to read it out because I'm recording this and it'll end up on YouTube and, well, there's creeps out there. So, okay. I don't want them to have the join code. There you go. Okay. You will need to be part of that classroom. You will hand in the vast majority of the things you are handing in for marks on Google Classroom. Okay. I am as close to paperless as humanly possible. Okay. And as I was saying before, I will record each and every day and post it on YouTube. Okay. The YouTube channel, okay, is Coder Science. Okay. I would suggest that once you get joined up with Google Classroom, that you also open up your YouTube app. Okay. Find that channel. Okay. Easiest way to make sure you can always find it is to subscribe, but of course you don't have to. I'm not making any money off that channel. Okay. Especially now that the limit is like 1,000 subscribers and whatever. So, okay, I'm not making a cent off of this. So if you subscribe, wonderful. If you don't, it won't make any difference. Okay. It just makes it easier for you to find it. But all the lessons will be posted on there. So you can see there's a playlist for each unit. Okay, and so we'll be starting with chemistry, and there will be all the lessons will be in there. Okay, questions on that? Okay, so you'll probably go to that page a fair amount. If you talk to anybody who's taken my class in the past and been very successful, they'll tell you that that was the one resource that helped them the most. Okay, the way you typically use these is, obviously, if you're absent, you're going to want to watch what you missed. But also, when you're doing a lab report or an assignment, okay, when I go over that lab report or assignment in class and kind of give you the instructions, I give a lot of tips and hints and really helpful stuff that can help you do well if you pay attention or watch the podcast while you're putting it together. Okay, so while you're putting your lab report together, just have that in your ear. okay, so that you're hearing all those little tips and hints, okay, and it'll help you out a great deal, and you won't miss, little marks here and there because of small stuff, okay, but that's definitely something that you'll want to use that podcast channel for. Okay, and like I said, so each day I'll post the day's activities. That could be, here's an assignment or a lab that we did. The instructions will be there. Sometimes the data results, whatever, will also be on there in case maybe your data doesn't look very good. Maybe you want to double check it with mine, okay, or you weren't here and you need the data or whatever. Okay, it'll all be on there, and you can do it that way. Okay, so just make sure that you are using that Google Classroom to its fullest potential. Okay, so using the above resources, you should always return to class caught up with your classmates. Okay, and because of that extra effort, I never want to be asked, Mr. Coder, what did I miss? Because again, I will give you a one-word answer a lot. Okay, so just make sure that you get caught up. Okay, classroom behavioral norms. Okay, the biggest thing, guys, is that I'm going to treat you with respect. I expect the same in return. I expect you treat your classmates with respect. Okay, there should be no bullying behaviors or anything like that that's going to make someone feel unsafe or not included or not welcome in this class. Okay, my attention words are listen up. So if you hear me say listen up, then I need your full and undivided attention. That's both eyes forward, both ears free of the earbuds, okay, and you're listening to what I have to say. Because sometimes, like, listen up, we need to get started, or listen up, we're heading across the hall to the lab today, or listen up, there's a fire over here and we need to go now, okay. Either way, I need your attention quickly, okay, and that's what I expect. Okay, work assigned in class. There's two different kinds of work that get assigned in this class. There's the skill development and practice work. That doesn't come in for marks. Okay, we start it in class, we use it to kind of develop our skills, learn how to do new things. You do it here in the classroom with me, and you have the opportunity to ask questions on how to do it. Okay, that stuff doesn't come in for marks, but I still expect that it gets finished. All right, if you don't finish it in class, you should finish it at home, or you should come in and schedule help or at lunch and get some help with it if it's giving you trouble. All right, but all of it gets assigned and it gets done. All right, I don't just give you a worksheet so that I can go, oh, sweet, now they're busy. I can go on my computer and see what my buddies are doing on Instagram. Okay, that's not what I do. Okay, if I give you something to do in class, it's a learning activity and we need to get it done. Okay, and I expect that I'm going to be busy when I give you that stuff because you're going to have questions and we can work on things together. Okay. The other kind of work is the stuff that actually does come in for marks. That'll be lab reports, assignments, projects. And there's a few of those. Okay, there's going to be 2 to 3 labs in every unit. Okay, there'll be a project in each unit, a major assignment or 2 in every unit. There's a lot of stuff that comes in for marks. Obviously, that really needs to get done because that's going to contribute to your mark. Okay, if you do all of that work, okay, and you ask good questions and you do your regular studying, you'll do fine. Okay, if every day you come here and sit on your phone and Snapchat through the whole class, don't do any homework, this is not going to go well for you. Okay, and you'll be miserable, and I don't want that for you. Okay, so if you're doing those things, you'll be successful. Now, something else you need to know about science. Everybody in the science department is on the same page on this policy. We don't do rewrites. Okay, there are no rewrites in science because rewrites are not part of the real world. If I become a brain surgeon and I screw up, I don't get a do-over. Okay, somebody dies and I'm at fault. Okay, there's no do-over for that. Okay, you have lots of opportunities in this class to come and ask for help. Okay, to go over things, to practice, to study. As a result, you should never have need of a rewrite. Okay? Now, if for some reason a test goes sideways on you, it happens. Not very often, but it happens. Okay, then you come in and see me and we work something out. But I don't give rewrites because that's just not fair to everybody else. Okay, so we'll work something out, but if you do happen to fail a test, and that's not a common occurrence, okay, then you come in and see me and I'll usually have some things for you to do and I'll sit down with you and make sure you understand everything, okay, because obviously we don't want the same mistakes made on the final exam. Okay, with the work that's assigned, okay, again, if you're not handing that stuff in, then you're missing out on not only assessments, but learning opportunities. And if that's happening, then I call home. Right? When I call home, I say, little Johnny's not getting his homework done. He's got 4 missing assignments for me. His mark is in the toilet. Okay. And he's got a unit exam coming up that he's most definitely not prepared for. So this concerns me, Mom and Dad. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring him in at lunch and scheduled help every day until he's caught up. And you know what your parents will say? Thanks, Mr. Coder. Appreciate you taking an interest and extra time to help out my child. Okay. They'll say something else to you and it won't be quite so pleasant. Okay. Like it'll involve you, like being locked in your room and, 4 gray walls and bread and water and no Xbox and stuff like that. Okay. We don't want to get to that situation. So, okay, let's make sure we're getting our work done. Okay. Doing a quality job of it. Okay. And not having to worry about that. Okay. Fairness versus equality. Everybody has different situations in their life. So as a result, in kind of extenuating circumstances, I try to treat people fairly rather than have a black and white policy on things. Okay, so if you ever feel like I haven't treated you fairly, okay, then come and talk to me about it. Okay, because sometimes it may seem like I've been more fair to somebody else than I've been to you. Okay, and that's again because everybody has a slightly different situation going on in their life. Okay, the example I always use is it was about 9 years ago now. There was an assignment due and there were like 3 people that didn't have it done. Okay, they came up to my desk and the first kid, to his credit, was very honest with me. And he said, Mr. Coder, I don't have my assignment done. I know I had a week to work on it, but I left it till the last minute. And then the season finale of my favorite show was on and I watched it and I fell asleep and it's not done. And I said, well, okay, appreciate your honesty, but I mean, the fact that it's not done is, by your own admission, entirely your fault. So you're going to take a late penalty, hand it in when you have it done, which I hope is very soon. Okay. Another kid, kind of similar situation, he'd just forgotten about it. Okay, by his own doing. Okay, he still hands it in, but he gets a late penalty. Okay, the last person in line is this girl, and she looks like she would have to get better to die. Okay, she looks horrible, like she hasn't slept and she's been really sick. And she says, Mr. Critter, my assignment isn't done. And I said, like, are you okay? I don't want you to puke on me because you look like you're going to. Okay. And she said, no, I just last night, I left my homework till last night and I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have done that. She said, but then I got home and my parents had this huge fight and they both stormed out of the house. And I had to make dinner for my 4 brothers and sisters and I made chicken and I didn't cook it enough. And we spent the whole night throwing up and I didn't get my work done. So I have to be a bit of a jerk and say, that's why you don't leave things till the night before, okay? Because that's when disaster will befall you, okay? When you set yourself up for that. I said, but obviously that's kind of extenuating circumstances. Can you have it done for tomorrow? Okay, so I gave one of those 3 people an extension on something, but their situation was different than the other 2. So I was fair, but not equal. Kind of make sense? All right. Last one, accountability. Okay, you are responsible for your academic success at this point, right? High school is the start of real life, so due dates and timelines are part of your reality. That means you are expected and required to hand in material on time. Be responsible for your actions. Okay, I give lots of time for assignments that come in for marks to be completed. I will never give you an assignment in class on Tuesday, give you no time to work on it, and then say, have it done for tomorrow. Okay, I won't do that. Okay, that doesn't teach you time management. It doesn't teach you scheduling or any of those important life skills, so I won't do it. Okay, your shortest turnaround that you would ever have would be 2 school days. And I can't remember the last time I had that short of a turnaround. Most of the time, it's like, hey, we did a lab on Tuesday, it's due on Monday, okay, or like Friday, okay, something like that. You'll have not class time necessarily, but several days in which to find some time to get it finished. Everybody with me? Okay, so I'll give you plenty of time to get things done. The expectation is that you, in fact, do get them done on time, right? So obviously in real life, you have to be on time. You have to get your work done. Okay, same goes for you here. To do with your marks. Okay, the first rule of marks is that I will not discuss any mark that you receive with you in class in front of everyone. Okay, I'm not allowed to do that. It's the Freedom of Information and Privacy Act. I cannot discuss your mark when other people could hear us. So if you want to discuss a mark with me, then you come in after class or scheduled help or lunch or something like that and talk to me about it then. Right? Most of the time you probably won't have to, because when I hand something back, I go over it in its entirety. Okay, so you'll know why you lost marks in places and why you didn't and whatever. Okay, but if you still have questions, like I added it up wrong, okay, then you just come and see me. Okay, then it's no problem. Just come and see me when we don't have to save face in front of everybody else, because I've had a few times where people tried that and it didn't work out very well for them. Okay, because I just can't discuss that kind of stuff with everybody else around. Okay, 4.2, your marks will be distributed according to the syllabus, so the weightings. I'll go over the weightings here in a minute. 4.3, this is really important. Assignments and labs are to be handed in on time. On time in this class means at the start of class, on the due date. Not the end of the day, not midnight, not 5 o'clock. The start of class on the due date is when things are due. And they are due immediately at that time. If they are not submitted at that time, they will be considered late. Okay? And in my mind, there are not varying degrees of late. Okay? Late is like alive and dead. You are one or the other. It is either on time or it is late. Okay? I'm not a person who goes, oh, well, if it's a day late, it's this much. If it's a week late, it's this much. I don't have time to keep track of how late your stuff is. If it's late, it's late. Okay? Doesn't matter whether it's 3 hours, 3 minutes, 3 weeks, or heaven forbid, 3 months late. Okay? It's still late. The late penalty in this class is 30%. So if it is late, it is 30% off. And that's right away. Now, here's the reason the late penalty is so stiff. You will always get your stuff back the next day. I always hand stuff back the next day. In 18 and a half years of teaching, I have failed to hand something back the next day once. And that was the day my second son was born. Okay, I think I get a freebie on that one because I figured it would probably be a bad idea to have a stack of labs in my hand while my wife was squeezing out our second child. I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure that would have landed me in the doghouse for a very long time. Okay, so that one didn't get marked. Okay, so yeah. What's that? Oh, I bet he got in the doghouse for that. Okay, so understand, guys, that you're going to get your stuff back the next day. That's why I don't have a lot of tolerance for stuff coming in late. I'm going to give you somewhere between 3 and 5 or more days to get things done. I only allow myself one night to mark 21 of them. Okay, you have to do one and you get days to do it. I've got to get all 21 of them done in one night. Okay, so if I can do that, you can get your stuff done on time. Everybody with me? Okay. All right, so your course syllabus. There are 4 units in Science 10. Okay, the first unit is chemistry. Okay, Alberta Learning calls it energy and matter and chemical change. We simplify, it's chemistry. Okay, so we're going to do chemistry first. We're going to look at how chemical substances meet human needs. We're going to look at naming. Okay, you guys did that hopefully in Science 9, naming ionic compounds and molecular compounds. We go into a little bit more detail with that. Okay, we look at chemical change. We look at types of reactions. We look at writing and balancing chemical equations and reactions. We look at the law of conservation of mass and something called the mole concept. Okay, chemistry is a fairly long unit. We probably won't finish it till around the end of March. Okay, kind of middle to end of March because we have a week off there in February, right? So it'll be kind of mid to late March before we finish that one. And there's a lot of stuff in it, a lot of skill-based things you'll need to practice on your own time. Okay, you'll get obviously some class time to do that as well. Okay, but there are some things you'll need to practice on your own. The second unit is cycling of matter in living systems. We call that biology because it's dealing with living things. Okay, so in there we're going to look at cells, parts of the cell, what they do, multicellular organisms and how they operate on the same principles as a single cell. Okay, cell transport, surface area volume ratio. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in biology, but that unit's a lot different from chemistry. Where chemistry is practice skills, learn skills, be able to demonstrate stuff. Biology is know the facts, apply the facts, know the facts, apply the facts. So it's a little more memorization, okay, than chemistry is. That one will take us about a month, so expect that we'll be done that one, let's say end of April, okay, somewhere along in there. Energy flow and technological systems is physics. Okay, that's going to be your most math-intensive units. Okay? There's quite a bit of algebra in that, but don't worry, because algebra is not hard. Okay, so we'll work on that. There's graphing in there, so we're doing a bit of graphing. Okay, looking at different types of energy, velocity and distance and displacement and stuff like that. Okay, that unit tends to be also fairly long. We probably won't finish that till the very end of May, maybe even the beginning of June. Okay, because these are the big 3 units. The last unit, energy flow and global systems, is kind of a hodgepodge of everything. Last semester I taught it in 6 days. Okay, it's not much of a unit. Okay, so it's the one we shortchanged in order to get lots of stuff in the other units. Okay, we'll start at beginning of June and be done in basically 2 weeks. Okay. All right, your marks distribution. Your unit exams, and there's one for each unit, they are equally weighted, are 25% of your final mark. Okay. Your labs, projects, and assignments, that is your course or class work, the stuff that you are working on in class, you can ask me about, you can work on with your friends, okay, that's 45% of your final mark. Okay, that's the 45% you ought to get a lot of. Okay. Quizzes, I didn't talk about those yet. You have 2 quizzes a week. You have a quiz Tuesday, you have a quiz Thursday, every week, unless I tell you otherwise. Now, a bunch of you are going, how do I get out of this class? Okay, here's the thing about my quizzes. I will post them on Google Classroom the night before. Okay, so the quiz you're going to write on Tuesday morning will be posted on Google Classroom Monday afternoon. The idea being, you go home and do it. Okay, figure out how to do it. Okay, they're not usually very difficult. They just involve, what we've been working on in class the last couple of days. Okay, do it at home. Come in the next day, get 100%. All right, that's the idea. If you're taking the time to study and do your homework, quizzes are easy. Okay, and they're worth 10% of your final grade. Now, figure it 2 a week though. How much is each one worth? Right, not very much. If you're going 2 a week until the middle of June, each quiz isn't worth very much. So if you have one that doesn't go well, that's not a big deal. Okay, but if you do well on the others, you're fine. If you do poorly on all of them, well, the same stuff that's on those quizzes usually ends up on unit exams. So you kind of want to do well on the quizzes because then you'll probably do well on the unit exams. Everybody with me there? Okay, so every Tuesday, every Thursday, but I will give you the quiz ahead of time. So there's really no excuse to do poorly. Okay, get them done. You guys even have the benefit of, you don't have me till the afternoon. You could even come in and ask and scheduled help if you were having trouble, okay, with the quiz. You can, Mr. Coder, I don't know how to do this question on the quiz. And that might give you a little bit of help. Okay, but it's about kind of how much effort are you willing to put in. All right, so that's 10%. And then your final exam in June is 20% of your final grade. Okay. All right, in green there, you're not going to get very much paper from me. Okay, I'm pretty much paperless. They're as close to paperless as I can be. Okay, so on Google Classroom, okay, in the About tab for this class, you will find a bunch of the necessary materials. The first thing you'll find is a link to my YouTube channel, okay, which you'll go to a fair amount probably. Okay, and then there's a notes package and a worksheet package for each unit, except biology, which doesn't have a worksheet package. Okay, so chemistry has both a notes package and a worksheet package. Your options are as follows to do with the notes and worksheet package. If you want to kill trees and use up lots of ink, you can go ahead and print them. Okay, but if you're a person who needs to have paper, print them. Okay, by all means, you can go ahead and do that. I would not recommend doing it in color. Okay, if you print all of the notes packages in color, you're going to go through like 2 cartridges. Okay, so I would say do it in black and white. You can always look online at these versions and get them in color. All right, and for right now, do you need to print all of them? You can get by with just the chemistry stuff for now. Okay, so just just get the chemistry notes package and the worksheet package. Do you have to print them? No, I would recommend you don't. You could look at them on your phone if you wanted. Okay? Or if you have a tablet or a laptop that you bring in, or a Chromebook or whatever that you bring into class, that's fine too. I've got no problem with the technology being out, but it's got to be used for what I need it to be used for. Okay? If you're Snapchatting all through class, that's not going to go well. Okay? But if you got the notes package out, or you're looking at the worksheet that we're working on your phone, awesome. Okay? Then you're fine. Okay? So when you open these up, guys, okay, if you click on one of those, they are in Google Docs. So if you have the Google Docs app on your phone, you can actually modify the file and put in whatever you want. Okay, but when you open it the first time, you'll need to make a copy of it. Okay, so when you open it, okay, you're going to see that it says right now, view only. All right, if you try and do anything and save it, I'm going to get an email saying so-and-so requests permission to access this file. And I'm not going to do that, because that means you'll be editing my master copy of the file, and that's not going to happen. Okay, what you need to do is just make a copy for yourself. Okay, so if we get the toolbar down here, okay, you click on File, and you go Make a Copy. Save it, and you've got it. You can make all the edits to it you want. Okay, and a lot of people do that in class. They're actually physically typing, okay, on their phone while I'm going over the notes and adding things in. Okay, it's a good idea because Google Docs is free. You can put it on your phone easily, okay, and make those modifications. The other thing I would recommend is these files should actually be downloaded to your phone. You guys know how sketchy the Wi-Fi can be here. Okay, you know that from day to day it doesn't always work. So you don't want to be on one day, oh, I can't access that file because I didn't have it on my phone and the Wi-Fi is down, or I'm going to use up all my data, okay, doing that. So you can save it to your phone. It's not that big. It won't take up a ton of memory on your phone. Okay, everybody with me there? All right, so it's your choice. You want to use an electronic version of it? That's great. You want to print it and have a paper copy that you can write on? That's also great. It's entirely up to you. Whatever is going to work best for you is what you should do. Okay? But those are necessary resources. We do not have a textbook. Well, there's a textbook, but it's terrible, so we don't use it. Okay? This is your textbook. Okay? This stuff here. Okay? Your notes package. That's what you need. So for tomorrow, have the notes package, okay, as well as the worksheet package ready, okay, because we're going to start it today. Other things that you will get, okay, you already got this, okay, so that's the sheet you have in front of you, so don't bother printing that, okay. The data sheet and periodic table I will give to you probably in the next couple of days, so you don't need to print that either. I will give you a copy of that, okay. The lab report expectations is something we'll go over later, okay. You don't need to print that either. All right, just the notes and worksheet packages are really all you need. Okay, questions on that? All right, so as I said before, okay, obviously there's no posts in here yet because there's nothing, we haven't done anything yet, okay, but every day there will be a post in there that has a recording and, you know, little notes about what we did. All right, any questions from you guys about any of this? Okay, other questions that oftentimes come up. Can I have food or drink in here? The answer is yes. Okay, you can have food or drink in here, but if you make a mess, you have to clean it up. Can I listen to my music in here? Sometimes. Okay, if we're working on some seat work, you know, or doing a worksheet or working on a lab report and I'm done talking, then by all means, if you need to isolate yourself from everybody else so you can concentrate, go right ahead. Okay, again, whatever works best for your learning, I'm fine with. But if I'm teaching, then I expect the earbuds to be out. Okay. Closest bathrooms. Girls is right across the hall. Boys is just down the hall. Our main fire exit is out the languages wing. Okay, so like through the stairwell there, those set of doors that go out, okay, and down that sidewalk there. Our secondary fire exit is down the end of the science wing. Our tertiary exit is the front office. But if we're headed to the front office, I might just throw a desk through the window. That might be faster if it gets to that point. If there's that many blocked routes, we're kind of in trouble. Okay? Most of the time, for fire drills anyway, we'll be going out that door and meeting out in the back parking lot. Okay? All right. I think that's everything. If there's no questions, we're going to move right into the material here.